What's good? What's happening with y'all, man? We got Jada Pinkett. Smith can't stop lying, bro. There's still more information on this woman, JAMARI. Let's see what's going on.
So over the last few weeks, we have talked about Jada Pinkett Smith a couple of times, and how she has gone on this press run for her new book.
Yep.
And at this point, she has embarrassed not only herself, but of course her doormat, Will Smith. So far, we have learned
Doormat's
that the two
crazy.
of them had been separated for the greater part of a decade, according to her.
Y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
And she even claims that Chris Rock asked her out in the past, which was apparently what caused the tension that created the Oscars slapping. And now Jada has continued to do these interviews, and people have caught her in several alleged lies regarding her own life, as well as her relationship with Tupac, and even his bald head. So first off, I just wanted to show you guys how this woman just cannot stop yapping about her relationship with Tupac. It's like every single interview she has to bring this man up, and it's like, at this point, can we just let him rest in peace?
Nah, facts, bro. Yo, bro, I wonder how she felt when they found out, the guy who allegedly killed him or set the hit on him, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever have you. I wonder how wait, no, because she posted. She posted a picture. I think it was this picture right here. And she was like, may you rest in peace or something. You know what I'm saying? But like, just like how she reacted when she first read or saw the news.
It's been almost 30 years since he tragically left this earth.
Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
And she's still milking the man for every little bit of attention that she can get.
It's a book out now. I never wrote about it. You know what I mean? I wrote about Pac, but trying to combat people's ideas, their ideas that men and women can't be friends, right? Or, you know, people wanting to believe that Pac and I had a romantic relationship, you know, what have you. I'm like, have it. I know what's true. Pac knows what's true, and the Great Supreme knows what's true.
And at this point, it's just hilarious how much she's coping, talking about, well, if people want to believe we
I think this was a picture.
had some sort of intimate relationship, if people want to believe that we ever had something going together, you know, that's their prerogative. When she's literally gone on record to call him her soulmate, showed off what was basically a love letter that he allegedly wrote to her, and now talked about how at one point Tupac apparently even proposed to her. But yeah, it's totally everyone else making these assumptions about your relationship. And the major thing for me is, why even talk about this stuff now? You have been married to someone else for a very long time, and you're still talking about Tupac like he was the one who got away. I mean, just listen to this interview where Jada claims that Tupac and Will Smith would have apparently been great friends had he stayed alive.
If Pac had survived Vegas, he and Will would have ended up being really good friends.
How do you guys feel about just hearing that right there? I'm gonna replay it.
It's Vegas. He and Will would have ended up being really good friends.
I don't know, bruh. I don't know. Cause like, you had history with Pac first. And who's to say, if he didn't pass, that you would have went to Will Smith? You'd probably still be with Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Or try to get with Tupac. Or whatever have you. I don't know, bro.
You know, they would have had a lot to offer one another. And funny enough, Will was the only person, when I started dating him, Pac never said anything. If I dated anybody else, Pac had something to say. He didn't think anybody was good enough, which I understand, right? But when I started dating Will, he didn't say anything, which meant to me, in his own way, he approved.
She's assuming that. She's assuming that. Maybe he was thinking something, but he didn't want to say it to you. Because maybe he saw that you actually like fucked with Will or something. Who knows, bruh?
This is quite literally the equivalent of you marrying a woman for like, I don't know, 20, 30 years, and her still talking about like, oh, my ex-boyfriend, I'm so glad he approved of our relationship. Like, to me, it's almost like she still puts Tupac on a higher pedestal than she will ever put Will. It's almost like she's saying here, oh, yeah, I could marry Will because Tupac gave me the okay. He said it was all good. Like, when it comes to a relationship, the last person who I would give a shit about approving is some sort of ex-lover. And when it comes to a book, the reviews have not been great, as
Oh, nah. Oh, nah. 1.9 out of 5, bruh. What's wrong with her? Perfect example of someone who will do anything and hurt anyone to stay in the limelight. Hyperbolic drivel. Drivel? Drivel?
As you guys can see there on the screen, she's racked up a whopping 1.9 stars out of 5, with some pretty harsh reviews, okay? Someone says, what's wrong with her? Perfect example of someone who will do anything and hurt anyone to stay in the limelight. Hyperbolic drivel. Jada is a mean woman. Jada Pinkett Smith is mean. She is a very bad person. Terrible. I read many a book, never one so pathetic. So me. Not an important person. The master of weaponizing therapeutic language to justify her.
Question. Because this comment right here, me. Isn't there a specific word for people who... Isn't it a biography? Where a book talks about somebody's like actual like their life or how they feel or whatever have you, right? Isn't that called a biography or I mean, it's still a book, but did she categorize it or say it was a biography? I don't know, because then this comment is like, people, there are books out there that people speak about themselves and their lives and how they grew up or whatever have you. So like stuff along those lines. So it's like, if the book is me, it's like, it's not the first time we see or hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I read many books, never me, had a tough time. Where is the moon? We didn't have to sell drugs. That's a choice and that was made. What?
Not an important person. The master of weaponizing therapeutic language to justify her inexcusable behavior and take zero accountability. And I do have to say, that's one of the best simple descriptions I've ever seen of this woman. Damn. So as you guys can see, things are going swimmingly for this book release. And here's where these alleged lies really start to rear their ugly head. This one has to be the most lighthearted lie of them all, where she claims that Tupac apparently had alopecia, which just happens to be the very same disease that she apparently suffers from. Where in this interview she says, I don't think Tupac ever talked about the alopecia he suffered from. After he was in North California with the police officers that beat him up, he started losing his hair, and his alopecia patterns were far more extreme than mine. I don't think Pac ever talked about his alopecia, but he also looked really good with a bald head. But that was during a time and during an era that you wouldn't. He just wouldn't talk about it.
Okay. Hold on. Now, imagine if this is all a lie and you're pretty much lying about a man that's not alive anymore. That gotta be the most disrespectful shit like I've ever heard of, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Or one of the most disrespectful shit I've ever heard of. Lying on somebody, or not on somebody, but like lying about them, and like what?
Extreme than mine. I don't think Pac ever talked about his alopecia, but he also looked really good with a bald head. But that was during a time and during an era that you wouldn't. He just wouldn't talk about it. I mean, what's next? Does Michael Jordan have alopecia as well? And let's just pretend that what she's saying is true and that Tupac did have this alopecia, even though there's well-documented images of him with a full head of hair. Facts. Like, if he really did have this problem and he was so embarrassed by it, why don't you just let him take that one to the grave? Why do you have to even bring this up in an interview? And I really think...
It's like that saying, I know secrets that I'll take to the grave for people that I don't even talk to anymore. That's the realest shit somebody can ever say or do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what if that was the case with him and you just outed him out like that?
I think that she just brings this up so they can have like another point of relation, like, oh, I have alopecia, he has alopecia. It's like we were a match made in heaven. And this alleged lie has got to be the craziest of all, where Jada claims that Tupac proposed to her while he was in jail.
A lot of people might not know, but he proposed to you while he was in jail.
I talk about this in the book when I go to see him in Rikers, when I wrote about that in the book, and when I had to talk about it, speak my words for the audible version of the book. That was probably one of the more painful parts, seeing him there, the condition that he was in, and having to leave him there. He was in bad shape. And so when he asked me to get married, he was at Rikers. And I knew at that time that He needed somebody to do time with him, which I was gonna do anyway. You didn't have to marry me to do time, right? I'm here. But he needed a rock. He needed, because of our friendship and because of everything we had been through together, he just wanted to feel that solidified foundation.
And time again throughout these interviews, she makes it sound like she was the only person who was there for Tupac. It's almost like she's claiming that she was the only stable thing in his life. But of course, with the internet being the internet, some people did some investigating and found out that the two timelines were really just not matching up between him being in jail and her being available for him to propose to her.
So this means that Tupac spent a total of 3 weeks at Rikers. Now, Jada specifically said in her interview that she visited Tupac at Rikers. But as one TikTok user pointed out, when Tupac went to Rikers, he was already engaged to his girlfriend, Keisha Morris.
So prior to going into Rikers, Tupac already had a girlfriend named Keisha. He proposed to Keisha, her words, in September 2011.
Hey, maybe she can be lying too, you know what I'm saying? We don't know, but look at this shit, bro. It's just the back and forth with it. The story ain't making sense, bro. You know what I'm saying?
11 interview. He proposed to Keisha before he even went into prison. They were already engaged.
So according to this woman who was actually married to Tupac at one time, she's saying that she had already gotten that proposal before he got locked up. She's saying that she was really the one there to support him and that she was the one who was always by his side. And now 30 years later, Jada's trying to have this revisionist history and make herself look like she was the one standing in his corner.
April 29th, 1995, Tupac married Keisha at Clinton Correctional Facility, and the civil ceremony was witnessed by Keisha's mother and Tupac's cousin. In October 2000, Keisha told the Source magazine that once Tupac was placed in the Clinton Correctional Facility, he asked her to handle all of his business with his lawyers, managers, and record company because he wanted her to represent him. And yet Jada never ever mentions Keisha or any other women who were in Tupac's life, and it's like she's trying to insinuate that she was the only one who was there for him. By this point, Tupac had already cut all contact with Jada, and they didn't speak for a whole year prior to his death. And yet the way Jada keeps talking about Tupac, you'd think she was the one and only woman in his life.
And that is absolutely true, okay? Jada blabbers all day about Tupac. She talks about how he was...
Bro, based off what the internet, like, what we see on the internet about her and shit, bro, she's talking more about Tupac than she has fucking Will, bro. And I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong, but it's like, it just seems like that. She's talking more about him than she has Will Smith, bro.
Was her soulmate, and I just want to know why she never talks about this falling out that they had and why he didn't speak to her for a couple of years before his death. Like when the woman who was actually married to him at one point is talking about it less than you, I think it's time for you to let the whole narrative go.
And I'm tired of always talking about...
Good motherfucking point. Good motherfucking point from JAMARI, bro.
But it less than you, I think it's time for you to let the whole narrative go.
And I'm tired of always talking about Tupac, but Tupac wouldn't with her. Tupac wouldn't with her. I'm tired of that story. It never went down. Oh, Tupac. I know Tupac. Tupac would have been with you. But in today's world, the people can lie so much, and once you get up there, it can take off. I'm tired of all that.
So it's really interesting how you never see Jada Jones, who multiple sources said was the love of Tupac's life, talk about Pac the way Jada does. And yet Jada, who wasn't even on speaking terms with Tupac when he was murdered, is now claiming she was Tupac's rock.
I mean, all I could think here is, can we just let that man rest in peace?
Yes.
Like, you're already currently torturing one man who's still here on Earth, Will Smith, and now you want the other guy who you could never get rolling around in his grave. And here is where the last alleged lie comes in from Jada, where she talks about her dark past and apparently her drug-dealing ways. What if something happens to my mother? What if she doesn't come home one night? Either overdosed, arrested, whatever. And so I decide to sell drugs. I decide to sell crack cocaine. Drugs are going to touch you, period. You could use them, you could sell them, but there was no being in an environment like that and drugs not touch you. I thought I was going to be a queen pin for sure, she remembers. You get caught up in the scenery. I was rolling with some really high rollers at the time. That's a whole nother Jada. A whole nother Jada that would chase somebody down the alleyway with a switchblade because they stole $700. Or the Jada that would sell crack cocaine and then get set up and two dudes come in with 9mm and she gets a gun put to the back of her head. Does that not sound to you guys like someone who is envisioning their life through some sort of like movie theater lens? Like this woman clearly thinks her life is a blockbuster movie.
It damn near sounds like a what is it, third person view? Yeah, third person POV, bro. I don't know.
It's like first she wanted to steal the ex-wife's story, and now this is just the story of 50 Cent get rich or die trying. Here you have Jim Jones speaking on Jada's alleged drug dealing past.
If you sold crack in the 90s, 9 times out of 10, there's still some crackheads in the neighborhood that can vouch that you was selling that butter. I don't know where Jada grew up at, but we need to go check and see. They got some fiends that can validify that she was selling that thing back in the. She had that butter on the block for sale.
So it appears that he thinks she's full of shit.
Yeah.
And Jada even went back on the Today Show.
Damn, bro. See, and that's crazy. Like, I'm sure there's people out there who know of her, and you know, they can vouch if that actually happened or not.
To clarify her comments about her relationship with Will Smith.
We are in a place now that we are in a deep healing space.
So it may not be the divorce on paper anymore?
There's no divorce on paper.
I mean, not on paper. There might not be a divorce in theory anymore?
Yeah, no, we really have been working hard.
Oh, back to a marriage again.
Back to a life partnership.
And it's just hilarious how she justifies her actions time and time again using this therapy speak.
Man.
Like, this woman is going to be 80 years old talking about how her and Will still have some stuff to work through and how she's still on her journey. And it seems like we're going to be subject to these two releasing information about themselves that we didn't need to know for a very long time. As you guys can see, they're going to now combine forces to release a book together called Don't Try This at Home. So we're going to see what comes from that. As always, I do want to thank you guys for watching.
Oh, man. Yo. Listen, bro. I don't know. Maybe I doubt this book is going to clear anything, honestly, because they're working on it together. And obviously, they're both going to read each side of the story from each other and shit. So it's like, how's this going to... How is it? This is actually going to be interesting, bro. That's all I got to say. You know what I'm saying? This is exactly how narcissists carry themselves. Also, as someone who used to live the life that she was talking about with the whole other Jada, she's almost 100% lying. Those things do happen, but the people who've experienced them don't talk about them in that way. Literally, bro. She made it sound like she just like probably watched the fucking video, documentary or something. She's like, yeah, I'm going to put myself in that and try to explain it just like that. I'd be pretty bummed if I was Pac's actual fiance and this woman was out here trying to erase my existence from her talk show throne. At this point, I think she's legitimately delusional. I don't think she's just doing this for personal gain anymore. I think she even believes her own lies. She needs treatment, but the people that are still, for reasons unknown, supporting her are enabling this shit show. The whole family is crazy, and there's definitely something that we don't know about. Praying for them. Jada is the only bullet Pac dodged. Pac. Oh my god, I can't even say his name without the two, bro. Pac dodged. You don't know? I mean, what else is there to say, bro? You feel me? But listen, bro, let me know what you guys thought. That's my reaction. Finally, enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'm out.